Well, there is the fact that I'm going to be at Board Game Geek Con this week. So that's cool. But at the same time, I'm getting really bored waiting for Rob to catch up to where I am so that we can continue our regular format of battling brushes.
Hey Sam, old buddy. I hope you have a great time at the Board Game Geek convention. I hope you, Tom, Z, and the gang have a great time. And hey, don't have too much fun without me. But without further ado, this week I'm working on the Blood Warriors. And this is a very complicated paint job, but I'm going to show you how easy it can be. They look complicated, but believe it or not, it's an easy do. So let's get down to the board, get going, and take a look at the Blood Warriors. So today we are working on the Blood Warriors, and this is a great example of a technique that I've been dying to show you guys. When you have a model, and the reason I've done this halfway, I originally spray painted everything black, okay? But I've done this model halfway because there's a reasoning for it. I really wanted you guys to see the detail that I've done and how I've done it. And then I've left the bottom here completely with the first coat of paint that I've put on. Now, this is a Balthazar gold. And the reason I've done it this way, okay, where you can just take and cover everything with highly detailed miniatures that have a lot of basic armors and edgings and things like that. Sometimes it's better, especially since you're going to be putting a very strong, what would look as your background, the red here. And this is the reason I did this halfway. You would think that you would paint the red and then edge all this out first. Well, that's not the case. The best way to do it is to take your Balthazar gold and cover your entire model. And you're saying, Rob, what are you, crazy? No, this actually makes sense because it actually makes it easier. Because it is easier that once everything's finished to just fill in the middle here. All we're going to do is just go over it in a simple black. And because the black is such a solid color, it's easier than if we had to do and go over gold over the red. It kind of blend out. That's why I kind of go backwards here a little bit. Now with that done, what I was talking about is taking the corn red, which seems to be the theme of this army. So you're going to take a little bit of that corn red, you're going to roll it out a bit, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take, and it's easier to fill in the area. Remember that technique I told you? You start in the middle and you work your way out. You start in the middle and you work your way out. And you see how that all works. And then if you mess up, it's not a big deal, because you could just take the gold and go over it. All this is gold, red under here. Then you could take and just simply work the red in the back here, and just keeping it nice and tight. You can see where on his thigh, where he has that gold arrow, you just work around it. And this is easier to do than to paint it all red and then try to go over. You could do it any way you want, folks, but I just find that if I do it this way, as you can see, everything fills in a lot easier, because it's easier to fill in a big flat area than to sit here and try to edge everything. And that's what we're looking for. And then we're going to build, and we're going to get that red right there. There we go. And you could be sloppy with the gold. It doesn't matter, because you're just going to go back all over it. Now this is the point that I'm trying to make here. Now if you look at this guy, I'm going to take my brush here and point this out. You see all that edging? That all was pre-painted. And by pre-painting it out, back out a little bit so I don't wash out. By just taking, and you could see by using and moving your brush from the middle to the edge, just with a little water on it. With all this that was gold, you could just make it and simplify it for yourself, and you could see where it's just coming in there, and you don't lose that edge. You end up with more detail by doing all the detail first, by painting all the thing gold, and then adding in your dark base color over the gold, because a red goes over gold easier than gold goes over red. See how detailed that is? That's exactly what we're looking for, is to give you guys the quality detail that you want on the back there. And that just makes it so much easier by doing it that way. So there you go. I hope you guys learned something today. So now we take a lead belcher. All we're going to do is go after the silver. Now again, this is just something where you can just take, and it's made easy because we did the metallic first, and this just brings out the metallic even more. And you can see where that's sitting in there. I'm going to add that into the bottom here. It goes on easier because there's already a metallic there to work with. With reds and golds, if you are going to use a wash, you are going to use Agrath Earthshade. It is a brown wash, or if you make a wash, a dark sienna. And how we do this is very, 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 very simple. All we do is we take our gold areas. Let me just shake this up real good. And then all we're going to do is just go over everything that we just did. And that's going to dart, even the reds, we're going to take and go over. And we're just going to take, and we're really just going to darken everything up there. And you can see how that's all going to get nice and dark from the wash. It ends up like this. And then all we do is we take our red again, and then we go and we fill in the spot here. So let me show you how, because I didn't do it on this guy yet specifically, so I can show you that once that wash dries, you're going to take, because it's very dulled out now, and all you're going to do, and you're just going to hit the high points, not washing out the wash, but actually taking and bringing and moving that paint into that area. And do you see how that starts to bring that out? Let's really zoom in there. So you got the real dinginess, but then there's just parts of that armor that is very, very, it gives you that feel that it is armor and that it is a corn armor. And you could see where that's all starting to come out by just going over those areas. See how this metal's here? That's okay. We just go over that nice and easily. Oh, we just fill that in nicely. And look at the result that we get. That's the result that we want. See how that comes out, but the armor looks very dingy and beat on and worked on. Let's do it again over here. And it's just, you don't even have to get up to the edge, because you can leave a little bit of that dark wash that's sitting in that recess, enough to give it enough punch. So I think I've explained everything to you guys, and you can see that everything is just doing everything that you would think you would have to do in complete reverse. And just by doing the metals first and going over and painting them all, and then filling in your blacks and your reds, and then washing over all of that, you'll get the result that you're looking for. And that's exactly what we want. So there you have this week's submission, the Blood Warriors. And we'll just take a far out shot of them. And next week we've got just 3 figures left, and we're done. So Sam, I think I'm caught up. If not, I think I'm ahead of you a little bit. And I hope you guys enjoyed this explanation. This is a great technique. Next week, we're going to be introducing a couple of new techniques, which I really think that you're going to enjoy. And I think I'm going to be doing that on the 101 as well the following week, which is shading. And that's why I saved the other guys for last, because I really want you guys to see that. So I hope you guys like these Blood Warriors. I hope you like this series. And hey, Sam, let's send it back to you, big fella. Take us out of here.
Mighty Lord of Corn, whatever, blood secretor, more like doctor from the 1800s or something like that. Mighty Lord of Corn, whatever, corn and blood. Sounds like a bad 80s horror movie. Korgoroths. Blood Warriors. Oh, how quaint. Blood Reavers. No saving throw. They're gonna die. Oh boy. Anyway. How long is Rob gonna take, for crying out loud? Oh. I didn't know Rob was done. Okay, well, hey, hope you enjoyed the Blood Warriors. Glad they enjoy blood so much, because they're going to see a lot of their own of it running all over the battlefield. Just saying. The Stormcast Eternals are where it's at, folks, and you all know this. Well, listen, that's all we have for this week. Next week, I'm going to be taking a hack at the prosecutors, the guys that I like to call the archangels. Really neat, detailed models. Fragile, maybe a teensy bit top heavy, because of how they are flying units that are attached by their scrolls at the end. So I'll be tackling those guys next week. So join us back next week for Battling Brushes. Next week there won't be a combat tutorial. I think you've got everything that you need in order to have a good understanding of when we're doing our playthrough. So we're just going to focus now upon the painting and get it all done so that we can have that playthrough as quickly as possible, and then give our review of the game also after that playthrough. So see you on the flip side.
I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at coolstuffinc.com.